Okay. I'm always like, anytime we're doing anything live during Mercury retrograde, it's a miracle we're here, girlfriend. No.
It is, especially this morning, because yes, we were feeling some of the love from the
Yeah.
you know
And it's
from
feeling
the
like a Monday.
stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, too, and I think anyone, if you followed any of my socials over the weekend, you would know that, or if you saw the show last night, of course, the Country Music Awards, the Canadian Country Music Awards were last night on TV. And in Calgary, they do a big, what they call Country Music Week. So performers, artists, people, everyone from the industry comes from across Canada to congregate for 4 or 5 days to network, do seminars, do performances, and then it ends with the show. So, like the Monday morning after CCMAs, I'm just happy I'm still here.
Yes, yes. It's a big celebration. I've been before
Yeah.
to the celebration. Not this year, I haven't. I didn't go, but yes, it's a wonderful celebration. But yes, and you were working,
Yeah.
so
I was
it
working. Yeah.
wasn't, you weren't just there to enjoy and relax. Yes.
No, no, I had to think and stuff. Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
But a note on that, I think that you would appreciate. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Tennille Townes. So she was the country singer who was hosting the show and then also pretty much won every award that there
Wow.
was to be given last night. And Tennille started out her country career basically like kind of like when she started really performing at the age of 10 and then into her teen years, and she really hit a mark growing her career because she's from Grand Prairie, and
Mm.
they have a big youth center up there that was going to close down, and it was a center that really helped a lot
Oh,
of kids in that community, and she didn't want it to close down. So she started a fundraiser to do a concert to raise money for this center. And as she got to know more people, she would bring all these country music artists to Grand Prairie to do this show. And then she ended up teaming up with Tim Hortons, and they've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the youth in the Grand Prairie community. And now look at this young lady.
that is so wonderful on both levels. Like, look at her go and all that she's achieved, in her career, but, you know, which is so wonderful. And, bigger than that, for that whole community to have a place for youth,
Yeah.
to go and to gather. And yeah, I mean, that is so important that we, right, that we take care of our youth, and we, find safe places for people to go and be together. Yeah, that's
Well, and
wonderful.
starting from like just the things that start so beautifully organically from ideas from our young people. And we're going to talk about that this morning too.
Mhm.
So I think it just fits so poetically into today that I was like, oh, this is going to be so amazing. But I just want to quickly say good morning to Cheryl and Dwayne and Jamie and Angie, who are all logging in and saying hi in the comments. I know there's many of you who haven't said good morning yet, and that's okay, but you're welcome to in the comments, as Virtual Coffee Club is a place for you to connect in and say hi. Poor Jamie Todd ran out of coffee, so it's a rough morning. Woo.
Oh,
Sending you virtual coffee, although it's not going to be the same. Yeah.
I don't know if we can send caffeine,
No,
virtually,
just
but yeah. But
caffeinated energy. I don't know. It's good.
but that's still kind to. We're thinking about it. I'm done my coffee. I'm on to water now. So
No, just starting for me. But welcome to Virtual Coffee Club, my friends. Elaine is joining us this morning from Solera Health Quest, and we're so excited to have you back on the show and chatting with us. It's always good to see your face. And like we were saying earlier, we have sort of this idea that came from young people, and it's an international day today. It is the International Day of Encouragement. Now, this sounds, I love them. Like, okay, I'm on board. When you had messaged me and said, can we chat on this day? I'm like, you bet. So tell us a little bit about what you've learned about what today is.
yeah. So when I was talking earlier I was putting together all of my Facebook posts for Solera Health Quest, and I always pull up to look to see if there's anything important, because I think it's lovely to draw our attention to when we have special days. And what came up was National Day of Encouragement for today, and truthfully, I had never heard about it before.
No.
No, I know. So I did a little research and looked it up, and actually, it came from a group of teenagers in the United States. They picked today, September 12th, because the intention was to look at, sort of all of the heartbreak that came out of September 11th with the Twin Towers bombing, and just, you know, the impact that that had on so many people, and the, as I say, like the heartbreak from that all, and they got together and started talking about what they could do, because I think a lot of times when really big bad things happen, and even sometimes for us in our own lives, when smaller difficult things happen, sometimes people feel pretty helpless about what they can do. So these teenagers got together and talked about it and came up with this idea for a day of encouragement. And I know, I love it too. And your story about what happened in Grand Prairie, um, and last summer, I don't know if people remembered because it was a long time ago, but we had, thanks to the Canadian Mental Health Association, a youth summer street party all summer with events for the youth. And so I think this, like, it's really important, this International Day of Encouragement, because I hope that it will remind us all, what can come out of kind of grassroots, small town, small city, um, teenagers who get together and look for what can we do that's positive, and that will make a difference. And we see in this International Day of Encouragement, as well as what's happened around our own community and in Alberta, um, like how powerful that can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I love when ideas come directly from the young people in our communities. And I think you and I both have been a part of several meetings and circle organizations around a group of adults that sit and go, okay, we need to do something for the youth in our community. What are we going to do? And we're all a bunch of adults trying to figure out a plan, when really the plan, when it comes from the kids, is the best option that there is. They know exactly what they need and want. And uh, I feel like it's our job to come alongside and fan the flames of whatever that looks like. So this idea is really cool. And I like the idea. One thing that I think that's cool about it is we can all partake in this today, and it doesn't cost a thing.
And that's exactly right. And Jody, I just want to say how much I support what you just said too about, when we're working, no matter who, we're trying to support or work with or be with, we need to hear their voices. So whether that's our older adults, elders within our community, children, youth, um, you know, adults, this whole thing about how we can really involve whoever it is that we're trying to help, and our intention is always good, but what is their voice and what do they feel is best for them? So yeah, that is so important.
Yeah.
um yeah, so it's free, it's easy. You, if you can't come up with any ideas on your own, for people that are listening, you can do what I did and Google International Day of Encouragement, and they have all these activities,
Yeah.
art project, like it's really terrific. They have art projects, they have um yeah, just all sorts of lists of things that you can do. And I thought I might just share a couple that
Yeah.
I thought
Please
were
do.
really great.
Yeah.
So one of the things is just to be mindful of who you meet today. Who do you meet today? Can you say something kind and caring to them? Um, Is there someone that maybe you haven't reached out to in a while that you've been kind of meaning to call or text or send a Facebook post to? Today would be a great day to do that, to just say that you're thinking about somebody.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, cards, so there's an art project on there, but just, making some cards for people. And it doesn't have to be anything, you don't have to be an artist. You can just be somebody that would like to take a little bit of time to, make a card or two for people to let them know that you're caring for them.
Yeah. I love
And
that. Well, and I think too, it's easy. Like, I think you could probably, like, as you're saying it, I think what comes to mind for people right away is you think of the person in your life that's maybe struggling with something or going through a healing journey or sitting in a place where they could use that additional encouragement. Those are really easy ones to just, even if it's a text message of just like, hey, I just want to remind you today, you're freaking amazing and you got this. Like,
yeah,
no matter what. And I mean, you could send that exact wording to every single contact in your phone, and every single person requires that encouragement, even if they're in a good space, right? Because how good does that feel, right? When you get a message from someone being like, hey, like, you're awesome. Like, okay,
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, sweet.
exactly. And, and people sometimes just need to know, right, that someone is thinking about them,
Yeah.
and somebody cares about them, and sees all the good in them. So yeah, that's exactly it. And I love it that we obviously this would be so lovely to think and do this every day. And I think that that's why, though, I think why special days occur during the year. It's not that, well, this is the one and only day to do this, whatever this is, but
Yeah.
it's just a reminder. It's a pause and just consider, Jody, the other thing I'd like to say, and it wasn't on any of the Google sites that I found, but the the one thing that sometimes I see in my counseling practice is that people are really good about being encouraging and compassionate to other people, and they're not so good at being encouraging and compassionate towards themselves. So I'd like to recommend one activity. It doesn't have to be today if people are busy, but at some point take some time and just make two columns on a piece of paper. And on one column, list out all the things that you've done in the past week to be nice and kind and encouraging and compassionate to other people, and just make that list. Then I want you to go to the other column, and I'd like you to write a list of everything you've done for yourself in the past week to be kind and encouraging and compassionate. And my experience has been that people can write all sorts of things about the other people, and their list is kind of short. And, I think that on these days that, yes, it really is important that we think about other people and people that might be struggling or grieving or, just going through, as you say, Jody, kind of their own healing journey and transitions. But the thing is that many of us are also in those places. And so how can we take that kindness and compassion and encouragement that we have within ourselves, and also give it to us, to our own selves?
One, I think too, it models a really great um, behavior if you've got kids. Like, if you're encouraging your own self, they're watching that. And I think too, a reminder of just like, give some of that encouragement to your child or your children, or if you don't have any, borrow somebody else's. And just because I think a lot of times kids get feedback from adults, and I'm going to I'm going to brush stroke this for a moment, Elaine, but like most of the time when kids hear from different things, it's usually because it's a learning lesson. It's not necessarily discipline per se, but it's usually along the lines of like, hey, you got to be better at this, or don't do that, or whatever that looks like. But there's not always a lot of random, out of the blue encouragement sort of statements from adults to youth. And so I think it would be cool to include them in those encouragement statements today too.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And, you know, um, if people think, oh yeah, you're right, I haven't done this in a while, how about a sticky note on your fridge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hug your kid today, tell them they're great. Because I do, I work with kids and they'll tell me, I'm never told what I do well.
Yeah.
I'm never told that I'm loved. And sometimes, when parents are in on those conversations, they're shocked because they do love their kid and they're proud of what they do, but they don't realize that maybe in the busyness of life, they don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
And
We think a lot of things. We don't
yes,
necessarily always say a lot of things.
I know
Yeah.
exactly. So I love your idea about, yeah, like who are your children or nieces and nephews or grandkids,
Yeah.
and maybe this week, they'll get a message too and just say, hey, I think you're such a great kid and
Yeah.
I love being your auntie or I love being your mom or your
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
When I always like to throw the curve into on days like this too, when you're being really intentional about where you want to send that encouraging energy to. And when was the last time, no matter where you are, like what size of community you live in, when was the last time you sent an encouraging note to one of your local community leaders or politicians?
Yeah.
They get all kinds of feedback about what they're not doing right or what they're not doing right. And just a moment of encouragement for whether you like, I think we all have interesting mixed emotions when it comes to what we'll label as politicians. But at the end of the day, especially in smaller communities, these are your friends and neighbors who've stepped in to try to lead to make your community a better place. So maybe a note of encouragement is nice on a random out of the blue day because they probably haven't received a positive note like that in a long time.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Sometimes I see posts up on Facebook from different,
Yeah,
leaders, whether it's not for profit or our elected um,
yeah,
leaders, and oftentimes it's this is a problem. Can you do something about it? Or even more, you know, this is a problem and you're not doing anything
mhm,
about it. And why is, so yeah, you're right. We need to kind of cast a broad net when we're thinking about who could use some encouragement today and who's trying really hard. And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and what also pops into my head in this conversation, Elaine, is like anyone you know that is like a CEO or a leader of an organization, because they're usually the people that are also encouraging their team, but it doesn't always go back the other direction. Or if they don't have somebody, say, as their leader, like where are they getting their moments of encouragement? And I think sometimes it can feel lonely in those positions, having, I have friends that pop into mind to me that are incredible leaders, but they don't always get that encouragement back too. And we don't think about it because you're like, oh, they're over there, taking over the world and they're doing amazing. But has anybody said that to them?
yeah,
As
yes,
humans, we just really we need that reassurance. We need that encouragement and that reminder that we're on the right path. It's just
absolutely.
it's our
And
humanness. Yeah.
and that's it, and we all need it, like whether we're 3 and 4 years old, whether we're a teenager where there's so many changes and so much peer pressure, but then like other pressure and school pressure, whether we're a young you know mom or a single
Mhm.
parent, whether we're a dad that's trying really hard and working hard, and or whether we're a CEO. Yeah, or, we all need to feel some encouragement and that people are thinking about us and acknowledging what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it. There's so many fun little things, and I think it's neat. I mean, it's almost like falls into when we celebrate Random Acts of Kindness Day. It's kind of the
Yeah.
same sort of thing, only your kindness, today is just some like it's the action of words, it's the action of telling someone. But you could do a random act of kindness. I know last week I had two separate opportunities on completely different days where people paid for my coffee in front of me in line. Like I was gobsmacked. I'm like, twice in 1 week? Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, world. Little things like that. And I'm not saying you, like we were talking about it being a free gesture today, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
just telling it, even that can be a smile. Right, Elaine? Like think of last time
ab-
you've been out in the community when somebody smiles at you
yeah,
when you're walking through a door, just passing them, you're just like, it automatically shifts the way you feel, the mood. You probably release a little serotonin in that moment because you just like it lights you up. So
yeah.
you could just go out and just light up people with your smile today.
And that's exactly it. You know, it doesn't it doesn't need to be some big grand gesture. And I think that's so important in life. And even when we think about, self-compassion, it doesn't have to be a big grand gesture because those usually cost money, take time, and more importantly, they take a lot of energy and so they don't happen very often. We're talking just little things, yeah, like a smile, a greeting, you know we see somebody, you know and just, it's good to see you today. Yeah,
Yeah. Great
it's
shirt.
not.
Love you in blue. Like
I know.
whatever it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
exactly.
And the other thing that I feel I always like to encourage on on days like this is that we see so much negative, sometimes mean, sometimes whatever elements on social media. And we have the power to use this tool in an extremely positive way. And so if every single person posted a note of encouragement on their social media today, think of how cool it would be scrolling through that feed and every single message you read is something encouraging and positive. Wouldn't that
Yes,
feel amazing?
it would. And it would. And because it's so unusual, we would pay really good attention to it.
Just it would almost get you off guard. You'd be like, wow, the last 5 posts have been so like I'm feeling really good right now. So I
Exactly.
would love to challenge people to also post something positive and encouraging into their social feed today
Yeah,
because that's
that
easy
would
to
be
do.
lovely.
Yeah,
That would be so lovely.
awesome. What else? Anything else?
Um, you know what? I think that hopefully that's given people a bit of an awareness of what National, Day of Encouragement is about and what they can maybe do today for themselves and for other people. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
I
love
love
it.
I love all your yeah I love all your ideas
I'm
and
like, you just whenever we get our brains together, Elaine, you fire me up always. So my encouraging message to you is just keep on being the amazing soul that you are in this world. You help so many people, and you love to shine the light of this world. And I'm so grateful that you do that, and that you're in the community that I live in, so I get to experience that. But just today, you just wanted to come on and help people help other people, and so thank you for that. Did we lose you? She might have froze on us, friends. Well, we lost Elaine there at the end. She froze on us. It's the internet. It's technology sometimes. So, oh, there she is.
oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, all of a sudden there you were gone. After saying all those
I was
nice
like,
and
oh, apparently she didn't like my encouragement. No, I'm just kidding.
was going to say, after saying all this nice and encouraging, encouragement to me, it's like, oh,
It
Elaine's
just
gone.
hangs up.
Anyway, I just,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you as well to you, you
Yeah.
know, and I love listening to Coffee Club because it always is encouraging and it's always about, our community and what's going on. And I think that's so important that we know what's going on and who's doing what and yeah, so I I really appreciate you as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing this day because I don't know if I would have known about it otherwise.
Oh,
So that's just fun.
well, and it is fun, and it's fun to have a place to go and share these things, and and just to kind of say, hey,
Yeah.
everybody, do one thing to encourage someone else today, or many people, if you
Yeah.
have time, and do one thing to encourage yourself. My one
Yeah.
thing
I
that
love
I
that.
Yeah, my one thing that I do, and I encourage other people to do, is when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do to bring a little bit of joy into my life today? And we're talking about a little thing to bring some joy.
Yeah.
And that's all part of that encouraging thing. So, and
Yeah.
we can ask that about other people. Can I do something that will, bring some joy into someone else's life today? Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right, Elaine. Well, you have an
Okay.
amazing rest of your day.
You too,
Thank
Jody,
you.
and hopefully get some rest from your busy weekend. And
Go have a nap and then I'm going to go to work. It's going to be
oh,
great.
there you go. Okay,
It'll be awesome. Hopefully we'll
take
see
care.
you. Would love to have you come out to a meditation class one of these
I
days too.
know.
We start
I'm.
Monday nights. We start
I
tonight.
know.
So
I
yeah,
know. I'm going to. I saw
yeah,
that you're doing that, and
yeah.
yeah, so I've got it on my get organized and sign up list. Yeah, I would love that.
Perfect. It'll be great to have
Okay.
you. Friends,
Yeah.
have a great rest of your Monday and we will see you back here on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Bye everybody.